G'day guys, Caroline recently asked me what material I use for the drawer fronts in my van build, so I thought I'd quickly run you through it. So as you can see here, this is a really thin material, which is always ideal in the van builds to take up as little space in the van as possible. So the material that I've actually used is a 3mm MDF here. Now, it's got to be said, with MDF, of course, it has to be painted and primed properly on all sides to help with moisture resistance. But once it is properly treated, I really like that MDF is so easy to work with and get a really smooth finish in the end, rather than a lot of plywoods which can chip and be a bit harder to work with and get a nice smooth finish. MDF just looks super clean and neat in the end. Now, this is a 3mm MDF board for the backing plate and a 3mm trim around the outside for the shaker style finish. The reason I'm able to get away with that being so lightweight is because it's not structural at all. For these drawer fronts, all of the structural elements of the drawer is complete, the runners are in, this is all ready to go. This is literally just an aesthetic faceplate that's going to be glued on the front there of my push to open drawers. It's important to mention as well though, on the other side here in the desk storage area, I do actually have some cupboard doors that will open like so. And for these elements, actually every element on here, so it's all consistent, I will use a 6mm MDF board for the door and a 6mm MDF board for the trim around the outside. The reason for the thicker boards is basically just for structural integrity, because the cupboard doors are having to take a little bit more load than just a facade plate. But also it's important to note that it's because I'm using these easy hinges. Now these are really good hinges for camper van doors because unlike traditional hinges you find in a house, you don't need to inset these into the door material, which requires the door to be quite thick. You can just screw these straight onto your door. But with that being said, the smallest screw that is available easily at the hardware store is 12mm long. So to use these easy hinges, it's really handy if your total thickness of your door is 12mm, which is why I've got the 6mm back plate and then the 6mm trim around the outside to allow me to screw the hinges into while remaining as thin as possible. So yeah, that's the materials that I use for the drawers and the cupboard doors in the van build. Some MDF to keep things nice and lightweight while getting a nice kind of aesthetic look in the end.